Welcome back to my inner sanctum. I'm your hostess, Countess Elizabeth, mistress of the macabre. Man has always wanted to go where no other man has gone before. Space is the ultimate test. Today, we will look into a conspiracy theory about the space race as we uncover the truth of the lost cosmonauts. Were there people lost in space? Let us strap in our spacesuit and get ready to orbit as we explore our grotesque curiosity. The space race, a period between 1955 and 1972, saw both the Soviet Union and the US pushing their scientific resources to the limits as they tried to determine whether communism or democracy was better equipped for blasting people into orbit. For a while, it looked like the answer might actually be communism, because in 1957, the Soviets launched their first satellite into orbit, and in 1961, cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first man in space. 4 years after Gagarin, on March 18, 1965, cosmonaut Alexei Leonov won the honor of being the first human to walk in space. Of course, secrets are tough to keep, even behind the Iron Curtain. By the 1970s, it was revealed that the Soviet Union had doctored published photos from the early space program to completely remove certain individuals from the historical record. Long before the days of Photoshop, Soviet airbrush artists had painstakingly painted these men out of countless photographs. But when the public demanded an explanation, they received a variety of unconvincing stories. In the minds of many, it seemed like a cover-up was afoot. These previous victories of the space race by the Soviet Union sent the US into a panic, as they feared that they might lose the contest to the Soviets. But apart from the various successes of the Soviet program, the Soviets might be hiding a few dark secrets. The Soviet program was renowned for its secrecy. Information about flights was carefully controlled. On one hand, this meant the Soviets were able to use the cloak of mystery to appear one step ahead of the game. It's easier to say that you're on track if you don't set a public deadline. On the other hand, it created a climate where rumor and speculation flourished. In 1960, a Soviet rocket ignited on the launch pad, killing at least 78 of the ground crew. In 1961, just before Gagarin's space flight, a Soviet cosmonaut was killed when a devastating fire erupted inside an oxygen-rich training capsule. In 1967, another cosmonaut was killed when a parachute of his space capsule failed to open. Gagarin himself would die a year later while training in a fighter jet, adding another name to the long list of fatalities associated with the Soviet space program. But there have long been allegations that these publicly known fatalities are only a small part of the total number of people who died in the Soviet space program. In fact, some have even argued that a number of cosmonauts were lost in space. I think that there were cosmonauts lost in space. In 1960, a science fiction writer, Robert Heinlein, reported that while traveling in the Lithuanian USSR, he met Red Army cadets who told him that there would recently have been a manned space launch. The launch capsule, Korabl Sputnik 1, experienced a technical mechanical failure when the guidance system steered it in the wrong direction. This made retrieval of such a capsule impossible, and the Korabl Sputnik 1 was stranded in orbit around the Earth. The Soviets officially claimed that the launch was an unmanned test flight, but according to Heinlein, there may have been a cosmonaut inside. To lend some evidence to Heinlein's theory, 2 Italian amateur radio operators allegedly picked up a number of radio transmissions that they claimed were from a doomed Soviet space launch. Achille and Giovanni Giudica Cordiglia, a pair of brothers from Turin, Italy, claimed that they began monitoring a Soviet space program transmissions in 1957, and that these transmissions proved Yuri Gagarin wasn't actually the first in space. In November 1960, the brothers claimed to have picked up an SOS transmission in Morse code coming from a Soviet spacecraft. Based on the transmissions, they determined that the craft was moving away from Earth instead of orbiting it, which meant that the Soviets had accidentally launched their cosmonaut deep into space. The brothers eventually made 9 such recordings they claimed were emergency transmissions from Soviet cosmonauts being launched away from Earth. In one of these recordings, a woman's voice can be heard saying in Russian that she could see flames. I couldn't get the actual audio, but here's a transcript of it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come in, listen, come in, talk to me, I'm hot. What? 45, what? Yes, breathing oxygen. I am hot. Isn't this dangerous? I am hot. I can see a flame. Am I going to crash? Yes, I feel hot. I am listening, I feel hot. I will re-enter. I am listening, I feel hot. And then it cuts out from there. But there are a few people who claim that this recording is a hoax. If the recordings from the brothers are real, then it means that the first woman in space was actually launched by the Soviets, and apparently died there. And if you believe other rumors, the Soviet cosmonauts were also technically the first on the moon, after a group of cosmonauts volunteered to be launched directly into the Soviet lunar probe. I don't believe this at all. I think they would have had to have more proof if they really did it. The Soviets denied all these allegations, and they were always eager to cover up any embarrassing incidents behind the Iron Curtain. There are a few good reasons to believe them in this case. For instance, the Luna probe had no room to fit cosmonauts who supposedly asked to be fired into the moon's surface. I don't believe that they were the first to go to the moon at all. And the Korabl Sputnik 1, which the science fiction writer was speaking about, had no re-entry field, which suggested that there were never any plans for the capsule to survive the trip back into orbit. And also the Judica Cordiglia recordings are now dismissed as forgeries, and the woman re-entry video described by Russian speakers as a hoax. In his biography, Gagarin suggested that most lost cosmonaut theories could be explained by accidents that happened in low orbit, and not actually in space. So it's possible some of the recordings could not be from space at all. Well, that was truly a grotesque tale. Whether or not you want to believe that there were lost cosmonauts, it seems possible. I believe that there were people who were lost in space. If the Soviet Union really did have lost cosmonauts, it seems up to speculation. But personally, I do believe that there were people lost in space. So may their souls rest in peace. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe, like, and share if you would also like to keep exploring our grotesque curiosity. We will meet again in the darkness of the night.